she drink rum, I never see you drink. So how the hell you drunk? I know that you're young. So baby, take it down. Whoa, 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 whoa. And when you cock it up, you're whining like a top, and all them men like that. So baby, not to stop. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't whine so, girl, don't whine so, don't whine so, girl, don't whine so. Afraid your bumper screen go burn, and that go be real headache. Afraid your bumper screen go burn, and that go be real headache. Come my baby, come and wind down to the ground. Come and do your thing. You the best I ever seen. And all them men watching the way that you whining. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't whine so, girl, don't whine so, don't whine so, girl, don't whine so. Afraid your bumper spring go burn, and that go be real headache. Afraid your bumper spring go burn, and that go be real. Want you to slow down so they could hold on. Don't whine so, girl, don't whine so, don't whine so, girl, don't whine so. Afraid your bumper spring go burn, and that go be real headache. Afraid your bumper spring go burn, and that go be real headache. Girl, get up from the ground and come and take your crown. Girl, big up your chest. You know you are the best, and no one can contest. You way above the rest. Girl, get up from the ground and come and take your crown. Get up from the ground, girl, come and take your crown. Don't whine so, girl, don't whine so, don't whine so. Choker. Don't whine so, girl, don't whine so, don't whine so, girl, don't whine so. Afraid your bumper spring go burn, and that go be real headache. Afraid your bumper spring go burn, and that go be real headache. She whining on the ground, they say she drink rum, I never see you drink. So how the hell you drunk? I know that you're young. So baby, take it down. Whoa, 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 whoa. And when you cock it up, you're whining like a top, and all them men like that. So baby, not to stop. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't whine so, girl, don't. Shocker, Charlie. The girl was on she first date, 'cause he said don't stay out too late. And when she didn't come home, 'cause they keep calling down she phone. So long as Granny calling, the girl not answering. But finally she come home, Granny say you're not answering your phone. And Granny start caroling, the girl started singing. Then she's saying, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, this is a snake in the sugar pan. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, you should know these things sweet for soul. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, long ago, Granny, you were so. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. She says she going online. She going to have a good time. You see, when you're out there, Granny does be worried. And you know your Granny love you. My one and only do-do. Say don't worry with Granny, Granny like to quarrel. Then she saying, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, this was a snake in the sugar pan. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, you should know these things sweet for soul. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, long ago, Granny, you were so. Granny, why, Granny.
another young boy fall. Your soul can rest at night. Oh, you's a bad man. Bad man is a man who will defend woman and protect the young ones by any means, Lord. You ain't no bad man, boy, now. You ain't no bad man. A real bad man just make his own decisions. He don't need anyone, he only needs God. You ain't no bad man, boy, now. You ain't no bad man. So, sit down, rock back. Tell them I don't need no strap to defend my people from wicked and evil. Whoa. So, sit down, rock back. Big man, look for a walk. You're too damn evil. If they distress my people, then fire go burn them. Fire go burn them. Oh, oh Lord, I said this is the year for love. Fire go burn them. Fire go burn them. Oh, say little boy, you ain't bad at all. No. Tell me what they're fighting for. What they killing for, Lord. We don't need no war now. There's no need. So tell me what they're fighting for. What they killing for, Lord. We don't need no war now. I said we don't want no more now. A real bad man don't go wrong raping woman, influencing young ones to kill a boy now. He ain't no bad man, boy now. He ain't no bad man. A real bad man works so whatever he wants, and he don't need no gun. He full of joy now. That is a bad man soldier. He ain't no bad man. So sit down, rock back. Tell them I don't need no strap to defend my people from wicked and evil. Whoa. So sit down, rock back. Big man, look for a walk. Yeah. If they distress my people, then fire go burn them. Fire go burn them.
Choker, Charlie. The girl was on she was dead. Cause he said don't stay out too late. And when she didn't come home, Granny keep calling down she phone. So long as Granny calling, the girl not answering. But finally she come home. Granny say you're not answering your phone. And Granny start caroling, the girl started singing. Then she saying, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, this is a snake in the sugar pan. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, you should know, this is sweet for soul. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, long ago, Granny, you were so. Granny, Granny, ay, ay, ay.
Opposition candidates currently barred from public office or releasing political prisoners, including Americans.
De manera unánime.
We will unanimously say that all sanctions against the people of Venezuela must be lifted, and today we have taken a first important step with the signing of a partial agreement.
The United States reacted quickly to the democratic developments, removing some but not all sanctions on the South American country's oil and gas sector, and setting up a 6-month period for restarting operations. A way out of economic crisis. An agreement penned paving the way for a 2024 election, and maybe a way out of economic crisis.
Today we are signing an important agreement that paves the way for us to regain our confidence in the vote. An agreement that guarantees that our candidates' internal selection processes will be respected.
The deal will see Venezuela's government and its political opposition each choose a candidate and agree to hands on opposition candidates currently barred from public office or releasing political prisoners, including Americans.
De manera unánime.
We will unanimously say that all sanctions against the people of Venezuela must be lifted, and today we have taken a first important step with the signing of a partial agreement.
The United States reacted quickly to the democratic developments, removing some but not all sanctions on the South American country's oil.
Today's executive order demonstrates the U.S. government's condemnation of tyranny and dictatorship in Venezuela. The Maduro regime has consistently shown hostility to the rule of law, democratic institutions, and the Venezuelan people. this has been a catastrophe for the country. Nicolas Maduro has financed his regime by hollowing out Venezuela through economic mismanagement, corruption, and the assumption of onerous debt. Let me be clear. Today's action is focused on restricting the regime's access to American debt and equity markets. Maduro may no longer take advantage of the
country's highest court blocked the candidacy of a presidential candidate. The leader of the opposition, the U.S. Treasury Department, will no longer authorize transactions with Venezuela's state-owned gold mining company. The U.S. will also end sanctions for relief for Venezuela's oil and gas sectors on April 18th. That is, unless all presidential candidates are allowed to run for office. Last week, Venezuela's top court upheld a 15-year ban on opposition leader Maria Corina Machado holding public office. President Nicolas Maduro's government announced this ban in June. Days
Yes, indeed, of course, our pleasure to good night to all and sundry. I thought it was important for us to look at some international and hemispheric geopolitical issues that we have been, of course, highlighting and impacting on Trinidad and Tobago. It is against that background, therefore, I thought it was important, and it would be remiss of the corridor transformation to, of course, ignore or in any way reduce the significance of those developments, because economic size or economic, of course, survivability, nothing more, nothing less, and therefore the socio-economic and psycho-cultural that are concerned to me, patience and of course making certain that we can survive into the future. That is what that is all about. And therefore, when the U.S. has decided to reinstate sanctions on Venezuela, then that should send a chill down the spine of all of us. Because this administration, the Rowley administration, had anchored its Trinidad and Tobago's economic fortunes on the dragon gas. And it turns out it has turned out to be, of course, an exercise in futility. And let me take this call one time. President, good night, welcome. President, good night, welcome. President, good night, welcome. We lost that point. So, it is as a consequence of that that we have to make certain and pay attention to these developments. Because it means life or death for Trinidad and Tobago. It means as well that the economic fortunes and the employment opportunities will go up begging if the deal would have fallen down as it appears to have been.
Check your phone. The phone. You have your phone, you come across the computer.
Okay, thanks.
The phone coming across the country.
Thanks.
I trust that has improved things. Oh my goodness. Yesterday, let's just get this one going. President, good night. Is it better now? Is it better now? President, good night.
Yes, studio day tonight, you know. Yeah, Darth Vader in the studio day. I don't know if it's you or you ask somebody.
Tell me, is it
coming across better
now?
Something like Darth Vader.
All right, okay. Is it coming across better now?
But what's
Call me tonight. Call me after the program.
There's something kind of muffled. But I just want to find out something for me before I hang up.
All right.
You make any headway today?
Yeah.
After the program?
Yeah, it looks as though something will happen on Monday. Payment.
Yeah.
Payment.
All right, okay. All right.
People, I'm not certain what is happening because I don't have the benefit of in-studio monitoring. And of course, I have no one here with me, so that I am shooting in the dark, so to speak. Pardon the pun. But I trust that things are better now. And if not, of course, call and let me know. But let us go straight, of course, to the Venezuelan crisis between, of course, itself and the United States as they reimpose sanctions.
Declared her presidential candidacy. In spite of this, Machado has vowed to remain in the race. For some context, Eric Martin joins us now. He's an international economics reporter for Bloomberg. Eric, let's talk about, on what grounds is the Maduro administration or the Maduro regime's court now banning Machado or upholding this ban on Machado from holding office?
Sure, Lilia. Well, the specific cases that they're citing go back to her time as a legislator and go back to 2015.
Let's go straight to the lines.
A number of years.
Let me just
most analysts agree that the only reason.
Pleasant good night. Welcome. I trust that I'm coming across much better now.
Yeah, better, yeah. It's more better.
Much better? Thanks very much. Oh, gosh, boy. When you do have a monitoring
system.
Yeah, it's still muzzling? Oh, boy. I don't know why. Yeah. All right, let me see what I could do.
Yeah, no, how I talking to you, it's something like, it's something like that. But on the system, it's something good now. Right?
All right, okay.
But I wanted to talk to you about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
This, you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Right. So what I wanted to tell you, right? This situation with the thing with Cook, the thing with Cook around the payment, right? He was quarreling with the guy and telling the guy in the car that you move your little car, only driving a 350 bend down kind of thing, right?
Right.
Taking up donation to pay for your mouth tax. You understand? I don't think he's supposed to pay for money. Sell the bend. Revenge is, you understand? I find that was real foolish. And you know what happened? Still going around and saying that how they're still trying to bring the man name and saying that how he gets keeping cars and selling anything. But what evidence they have of that? They have no evidence of that. Because if they find stolen cars, right?
Yeah.
Where is the police in this? How come the police don't have information? How come the police and lock up nobody? How come they may seize nobody property for finding stolen items in their property? All these type of things. So I think people have to be very careful how they're using those type of allegations against people. That is the same thing that put people in trouble. You understand?
Yes.
You have to know what you're saying about people. Now, I see a video with a guy, well, a few fellas trying to break in same for his place and keeping stuff from it. You understand? They pull out a bumper, they run out in a van and put it in a van and they go on with it. You understand? The point is this. If you catch somebody with stolen things, and have a law for that, so and find the person, but they're saying that all this is what they can be. I heard it on our station, and whole week they banging that in our station, right? But the thing about it is they're making allegations on people, right, which they have no evidence of, and I think that is wrong. You understand? And if people come out, right, and went to court, and the mouth causing them lose that case, then he should be. And I sympathize with this. I don't know big fan of the person who on the case, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. A judgment has passed, and until they repeal the case or whatever the case is, I think that is the judgment. You have to pay the price, right?
Yes,
so
indeed.
That's nice.
Yes, indeed. And of course, there is a fundamental saying: injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and therefore. If it is that you are expressing your free speech privilege, and that is a privilege, that is a right, that is constitutionally enshrined, but all, as everything else, it is circumscribed, it is limited by the fact that you do not defame others. In other words, you do not say things that are false, patently false, and if the person is sufficiently offended that they take the matter to court, and you cannot prove it, then, of course, you are subjected to the sanctions that such an infringement of the fundamental rights of the other party, the right, of course, not to be defamed, not to be recklessly and brutally rendered less than a human being, and that is what defamation is all about. So I would expect, for example, every night I'm calling Dr. Rowley a rapist and a pedophile. And that to me is the highest degree of defamation if it was false. Only if it was false. The truth is a potent and most powerful defense against defamation. And so it therefore would behove on me, because Rowley, through his different lawyers and spokespersons, whether they arrogate unto themselves that position or not, whether they volunteer to do that, but they said that I, Lennox Smith, have been speaking untruth about Rowley. And his lawyers wrote into the radio station 104.7 and told them that my information is not accurate, meaning that is a nice way to say I am lying. Then, of course, you will understand why I have sent a pre-action protocol letter to Dr. Rowley saying to him that he, through his representatives, legal or otherwise, have defamed me by calling me a liar. And therefore, he must come to court and prove that I am a liar. And the only way he could prove that I'm a liar, he must say one, he must prove one, that he did not rape Miss Allen when she was a student or of school age back in 1970. He must prove that she did not make his first child at age 17. He must also prove that if it is she made the child that he accept at age 17, then around 16, he would have impregnated her, because of course 9 months before that she must have been interfered with, and of course she was impregnated. Let's go straight to the lines. A pleasant good night. Pleasant good night.
Good night, Mr. Smith.
Oh, good night to you.
Hello, Mrs. Smith.
Good night to you. Yes, I'm listening.
Yes. On Rowley tonight.
Yes.
You hear me good, loud and clear?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Rowley went to Washington. Rowley.
Yes.
Talking about crime. When he leave Trinidad, he didn't come to talk about crime, you know. He come to talk about the drug and gas. But it backfire on his ass. You understand?
Right. That's right.
Tomorrow, we have some conference tomorrow. You hear me?
Yes. To give us the sad news.
Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go ahead, speak.
Okay. You're having a conference tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, all right. You're having a conference tomorrow, 9:30. I want to know what you're coming to talk about.
Bad news.
I just don't talk to a friend from Trinidad.
Yeah.
I just talked to a friend in Trinidad. I talked to him for about 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
So he was talking about the government and this and that. You know what I want to tell me? He tell me he's a PNM till he's dead.
And dead he will. By a PNM dagger.
He say he's a PNM till he's dead. And yet he used to work NHA at the time that I know NHA. NHA and them owing him $150,000. But he's a PNM till he's dead.
Yeah.
What is wrong with these people in Trinidad?
They will kill him. They're suicidal. They will kill him. Yeah. Since he's so stupid. Yeah.
What is wrong with the man tell me that PNM till he's dead.
Yeah.
What is wrong with listen to me. I lived in Trinidad about 45 years ago. And it's like, I don't think that Trinidadians living in Trinidad again, you know. There's a different breed of people, some kind of, I don't know, some kind of thing. I don't know, man. I don't know. Something. Them people and them is not people at all. They ain't real. Something wrong with these people down there.
Well, little.
All right, Mr. Lennox. We'll talk later.
Yes. But little does he know that he is part of a dying breed of suicidal PNM who would see the truth in their faces, or who would, of course, see spit in the sky and say it is raining. Rowley and them will pee or defecate on them, urinate or defecate on them. And they will say, of course, it is perfume mixed, of course, with some kind of olive oil to anoint them. Not knowing is to kill them faster. But that is the reality. They are suicidal. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Welcome. Well, of course, fighting up.
Yeah, man.
Fighting up, yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
Loud
man.
and clear. Loud and clear.
Right. That's what I know that.
Yes.
Because I'm not picking you up on YouTube. I'm not picking you up on YouTube, and
Huh?
the Prime Minister coming tonight, right, with the entourage. Yeah, man?
Yes, go ahead, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, man, Alex?
Yes. Loud and clear.
The Prime Minister coming with the entourage tonight.
Uh-huh.
Right, he coming with the entourage, but you know what? He didn't have a conference. He didn't let the person nothing. He in some back room making up some excuse to talk rubbish tomorrow about this Jordan can dance deal. Right? You understand?
Yes.
Because he had egg over his face and Stuart Little face and all the rest of the
And he tried to show a brave face.
So he's making up some story to come tomorrow to alert the public over what is going on.
Yeah, poor fella.
Yeah, I'm not saying nothing. Other than to go and jump up and say no. I'm not feeling sorry for you, know. You understand? Because you have people in this country suffering. So you PNM stick up and forward. So they always say that he's doing the best thing, right?
Yeah.
But when you have these people and then down in a point there, where the family dead, and the way you treat them, it's only fair that karma follow you back.
Yeah.
And it's paying for it now. You understand?
Yes.
And Miss Erla, who he had picked at number 12, went and make a public spectacle as she served in Parliament when they was asking she questions. She had an 11-point plan and she never meet one that she targeted there. Not one. And then when they asking she questions, she can answer.
Wow.
This is what you get when you put a political appointee as Commissioner of Police. You put that woman there, when you do that, put she number 12, let him 2, 9, 3. You put number 12 in office and number 12 running the office upside down, can't meet that target. You can't have no control over the officer. She can't get them to put on body cam. Yeah? The police is a runaway entity right now under she. That's the quicker this government get out of office, the better. Have a good night.
And of course, to handle a merit list, she tells us that the spreadsheet get mixed up. She tells us that the spreadsheet gets mixed up. I talk about earlier Christopher, the Commissioner of Police. I mean, it is upside down people in serious offices in this country. And of course, the Prime Minister Rowley is the epitome of that. He's at the zenith. He is at the apex. And unfortunately, he's the man that chooses these people. So birds of feather flock together. I remember distinctly in the Beatum when there was an opportunity, of course, to regularize the occupiers of those lands very early. In that case, it was phase 4 and 5. Those are the phases that did not have the benefit of HDC constructed homes. So they were regularizing the land on which they reside or have been residing. And guess what? They asked, of course, for people to take vote for statistical reasons and to get an assessment as to how many people would be affected or would benefit from the regularization that the government was prepared, of course, to provide to that community. And God knows they need it. They want, of course, tenure, security of tenure. But guess what? And there was, of course, a community council, the secretary of which found greener pasture and, of course, left. I think he went to work with TSTT. Yeah. So, when one was looking now on behalf of the community for the council to continue to do the work because the entire community will benefit, guess what? Guess what? The chairman wanted to scrap the whole thing. He no longer believed that it would be of benefit to him and the community, even though the benefit is so glaring, conspicuous, and pellucid. But guess what was the problem? The problem was that the chairman couldn't read and write. Couldn't read and write. And because he couldn't read and write, he didn't want the community to progress. He wanted the community to remain at the level at which he is at. And that is what Rowley and they remind me of. Rowley is a leader who doesn't want anybody else to rise above him or to look much more educated, much more dynamic, much more intelligent. And so what he has done is surround himself with a bunch of yes men and yes women. And therefore, the experience of Trinidad and Tobago is, of course, incompetence, impotence, lack of equitable distribution by persons who clearly have metamorphosized into what? Into criminals. If they want that before Rowley invited them to be part of his government. In other words, the leader does not want anyone to go beyond or to be beyond or to achieve beyond his limited capacity. That is so myopic. That is so self-serving. That is so idiotic. That is demonstrably the characteristics of someone he will not allow to excel because of his narrow and self-serving and selfish disposition, only because they had the power. But that is Rowley and his minions. Because it is not very often, nor is it contemplated, that an entire cabinet could be such damn fools. An entire cabinet, whether it's 11 persons, 12 persons, can be such fools. You telling me that not one of them inside there know or understand? And to tell Rowley and to tell the rest of their colleagues, listen, you cannot have one man recusing himself on the basis of conflict of interest. More than one time, far less for 12 and 15 and 20 and 30 and 50 times. None of them. So you understand the quagmire that we have found ourselves in as a community. President Goodwill, welcome. Yeah, welcome. Welcome.
Yeah. I just sent you a video clip there where a guy posts up concerning Rowley new orders. He gone for to implement it here.
All right, I'll check it out.
You understand?
Yes.
So you could look at it.
Yes, I'll do that. I'll do that. Thank you very much. I'll take a look at it. Yes, indeed. Yes, man. And people from every walk of life, from here, there, and everywhere, conscious that Rowley and they are not just satanic, not just toxic, not just putrid, not just latrine material, but are prepared to fight the good fight and bring forth the nation that you can benefit from in terms of the ratification and confirmation of that rotting head that we have called the government of Trinidad and Tobago. So don't be surprised tomorrow when Rowley speaks and said that the opposition is to blame for, of course, another failure of Rowley, only to stay in office a little longer and hoping against hope that by some epiphany, without having to do anything, luck will come his way. That's what is happening with him. Because you heard him when he was in his glee. He said that, of course, the oil company that was formed after he mashed up Petrotrin was making money. In that aspect of Petrotrins, if it was how it was before he mashed it up, that aspect of Petrotrin was always making money. If you're looking for oil, and if you're collecting oil, and if you're exporting oil, people will buy any amount of oil you have. So that cannot be curry. It cannot be correct. Curry, but it cannot be correct that because you change into, you mash up Petrotrin, and you make, of course, you create a company that is sitting on its own, but it was part and parcel of Petrotrin, and it was always in Petrotrin, and you have not been able, of course, to clearly and pellucidly tell the population where Petrotrin was dependent on the national purse. You heard, of course, friends and fishermen of the sea, Gregory Aboud, talk about it and said that under the Freedom of Information Act, when the information was returned to him, he saw where in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, the government never sent a red cent to Petrotrin. The coffers of the country was never supporting Petrotrin, as Rowley told us, and one of the multiple reasons why he had to close it down, without telling us that it really was, of course, the fact that his name was being called in the fake oil matter. That rapscallion, that criminal, that evil man. Yes, indeed. And I want to share with you tonight an experience that I will never forget today. You know what I say? For the rest of my life, I will never forget it. Here it is. The organization that I founded, the Mova Lavatil Improvement Organization. Of course, you know that I'm also associated and was the progenitor, the founder of Lavatil for Lavantilians. I'm also closely associated as a coordinator with the Shouter Baptist Learning Institute. Shouter Baptist Learning Institute. And today, on instructions from these three organizations. Because, of course, the MLIO had acquired a building on George Street in Port of Spain, 55 George Street, Port of Spain. And it didn't matter whether Rowley made the announcement or not of some illusionary and unclear and convoluted and mysterious and enigmatic $100 million that Imbert has yet to tell us whether he found it or not. It didn't matter, because you're talking about an investment that was made by the executive and membership of the MLIO to purchase this building. And today, I personally went on George Street, 55 George Street, where, of course, I expect that in the future, I will be, of course, beaming or having these nightly lives. And, of course, on the ground report, I will be in that area speaking on radio and, of course, delivering my nightly lives from that area. What is the pleasant surprise? Of course, as you know, I have been associated with that community in general, East Port of Spain, Lavantil, Beetham, Sealats, and we can go on and on up until Mova, Malik, etc. But when I told them that, listen, I am now, of course, the proud, or my organization is now the proud owner of that building, everybody who was anybody gathered are talking about young people who remembered that it was I, long before Rowley, that caused the renovation, and it is the latest upgrade of that facility of the George Street Community Center. Oh, the same center that Rowley went when he was the Minister of Housing, and told the people in that area that they are going to bulldoze, if they have to bulldoze the whole area, flatten it, in order to do their gentrification agenda. Displace the people, and then bill for, of course, their 1%ers as we know them today. Yeah, that's what he went there. I went and renovate. He went to destroy. And many of those young people who came around today to find out what was happening, what is the new development, and as the news circulated in the various high-rise, the planning, they call them, and so on, and they came around, and who may be considered to be bad man, and of course, head of gang, and possibly a shooter, whoever it is. And when the young ladies came around and started to hug me up in 3s and 4s, because I would normally be ingratiated, I would say, or put another way, attract their respect. Because where I go on a Friday, Spargos is just over the road, where I go for my entertainment. They will see me, of course, on the floor whole night. And they will come to me. And of course, I will offer them as a gentleman would. Once you have the resources, a little drink. Surprisingly, they normally would drink and ask for shandy. I thought they would have asked for something stronger in that vicinity. Of course, going there to ease their frustration and the drudgery of life. But there they were. Big 4 o'clock in the evening, this evening, and all gathered. So I told them that, listen, to rekindle that which I started many moons ago, where the community center was an opportunity to provide work for the young men and, of course, exhibit their skills in carpentry, painting, and what have you. And at the same time was able, of course, to provide them with the nearby basketball court on Prince Street. And at the same time, the basketball court on Duncan Street, based on a specific philosophy that I have already enunciated and will do so in due course. I don't think I should belabor the point now. But what I was elated about, I told them, well, listen, I'm coming to clean. I came with the locks and so on, because the locks on the current gates and so on were rusted and non-functional. And I told them, well, listen, we are going to, of course, complete the job that was started many moons ago, and all you know how long this building stood here, and all you know how long that community center was refurbished, and all you know how long that basketball court was constructed, etc. But there are other elements of the plan that I needed to finish. And I am going to tell you, it was not by accident. I say not by accident, because the Lord moves in mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. Oh, what a mighty God we have. You want to say? I say, what a mighty God we have. Because not by accident that has happened at this time. A time when, of course, the PNM is on its last legs, and on, of course, the penultimate year of heat, pain, agony, and they must have a torrid 2024. But 2025, comes the dawn. Comes the dawn of refreshment. Of refreshment and deliverance. I'll complete after, of course, our external contributor would have had her contribution made. Professor, good night. Welcome. Professor, good night. Welcome.
Good night, Lennox.
Good night to you.
Thank you, everybody on the chat.
Yes. Loud and clear.
Right. Lennox, well, we have to brace ourselves for tomorrow.
Yes.
For when the rotten got lunatic land.
Yes.
And he came tonight for when at the press conference tomorrow.
Yes.
His gut will rot a little more when he have to come and tell us that because of Kamala crime talks, the gas deal was cancelled. You want to bet? Comment to blame Kamala. There was crime talks.
It's a bunch of lunatics.
The man is so predictable.
Yes.
It's a bunch of lunatics running this country. God in heaven knows what we let. Every day I ask God, if I did something wrong, forgive me and set the country right. Because why are we punishing like that?
Sure, right. Why are we?
You know what?
Hey, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know what we did. What we did to be punished so enough. Look at the next fool, Randall Mitchell.
Oh boy.
Asking the band leaders and them to bring proof. Yeah, to bring proof that Prime Minister the carnival or their sales.
A typical Rowley statement, incongruent, makes no sense, and is totally devoid of reality. Go ahead.
Lennox, we cannot go in the grocery in peace. We cannot go anywhere. Look, yesterday when I was coming home, I passed by churches on Henry Street there. I said, let me get something to take home. because I really didn't feel to come home and cook. Lennox, when I pushed the door, I was so scared to go in. I keep praying, oh God, Papa God, don't let no gunman come in here. That is the fear you have now. Because that's what they're doing. They're going anywhere robbing people.
Yeah.
We are living in fear in this country. And like it's only pianists don't know. They're not feeling it. You get into a taxi, you're praying, you understand? Don't let it have a gunman in here. Lennox, she asks people to proof. You really, really have to wonder where is it, you know?
Yeah.
When these people talking so much crap. But we know, Lennox, that he coming tomorrow to blame Kamala and them for something. Something he coming to blame them for. Yes. And tonight, Lennox, now this morning, I sent you the voice note for not that to be shared. That, right? Because of the message that was sent in that voice note.
All right.
People were calling me about it, right?
Mm.
Tonight, I want to say the same thing again. On UNC people, who all are very intelligent people. Do let people sow seeds of doubt, Gary or anybody. The step is, and it's the backstabbers in the UNC. Want to see crime talk progress, right? They don't want it to, they just want failing. But Kamala, she's an achiever. She's an achiever and she is going to achieve. And they are sowing seeds of doubt. And you know, Lennox, you know what it has hurt me?
Good.
To these people. Opportunity to sit in the Senate, to sit in as an MP, to sit in as an alderman. You know, I was pleasant surprised. Beard was made an alderman.
Yes. I think that was fantastic as well. A young man.
Giving everybody an opportunity. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody like Joseph Moses coming to talk. What Rowley do for them? No, it's election. I mean, he did 100 million to try them. But as I said, you see people, you are too intelligent. Do not be fooled by these people. They have an agenda. Kamala's own people wanted to see that crime fade. But they were shocked. Just like Rowley. You saw it wake up from the jail.
Rowley too.
They were shocked.
Rowley would have been
so
shocked.
well attended.
They would have sent pictures to him as well, so he would have been shocked as well. So I can imagine.
Rowley was shocked.
With venom because something is successful.
That is why he lashed out at Abraham and Gary Griffith like that.
Organized. Yeah. His own.
Why he lashed out at them like that, Lennox?
That's right.
And I see nothing wrong in if Gary having his own. Gary is leader of the NTA. Kamala and them dealing in South and Central. Gary lead in the West and the East-West corridor. What is wrong with that? Everybody should listen to what is going on. But again, as I said, you all are intelligent people. Don't let me down. Stop this nonsense with bad talking Gary or chat and say all kind of nasty thing about the man. What Rowley is doing to the country, we doing. Gary informing people about the crime situation, plans and policies. The same thing and them doing. So instead of criticizing him, criticizing the crime talks? Get up, do something. Don't just be keyboard warriors. And show people that you're not a crayfish fussy like the AM. You're not too intelligent for that. Lennox, thanks a lot for listening to my 2 cents, and take care and have a good night.
Yes, indeed. But I have cursorily, superficially, of course, and there's no need to add much what I consider to be gray matter or intelligent analysis to why Gary Griffith and somebody has a problem with some division concocted in their minds, something like Rowley and his emails. But let me tell you this. If Gary Griffith was attending all of the crime talks or crime exercise by the UNC, the same people would be saying that Gary is not his own man, that he has, of course, to succumb and to suck up and to, of course, belittle himself in the UNC. I thought, and they will go out, he was an independent party. But it's really the UNC B. I see them saying all of that. So, well done, Gary. Maintain your independence. And more significantly, you have to be an asinine specimen of inhumanity. You have to be a dunderhead. You have to be an analyst in zero mood. Zero mood. If you cannot generate an argument that is sustainable, that is logical, to suggest there is some split, there is some division. And the first point of call, even though it may not be total and significant, but my common sense will tell me if Gary was keeping those meetings that he has organized under his party, as he has a right so to do, just as me, I'm going to be holding mines as well in the East Port of Spain area. Having seen what I saw today, I was very elated and very enthused and motivated. But if they were being held at the same time, simultaneously, in other words, same time, let's say 6 o'clock to let's say 8 o'clock, whether it's in Diego Martin or any other part of the country, then you probably could lay the foundation for an argument like that. Other than that, it's a square peg in round hole argument. You would see that the UNC will card their meetings, and the NTA will card theirs not on the same day and not on the same time or evening, as the case may be. That tells you a story. That tells me that is unity, coordination, and organizing. It is not something done helter-skelter, willy-nilly, or higgledy-piggledy. Understand that. You damn fools who is attempting, of course, to say something exists. It does not exist. Two separate parties with a geographic spread that may be national in scope as far as the UNC is concerned, but I would want to say regional in scope as far as the NTA is concerned. They know, in other words, their niche. UNC has no niche in the context of Trinidad. They create their own, of course, limitations beyond Trinidad, because they say they don't want to interfere with the goings on in Tobago. Not that they can't. They could. They could extend their crime talks to Tobago. And who knows? Never could tell. It's a free country. So let me get back, of course, to the very impressive display of young people welcoming open arms. But let me give you, of course, the crescendo of my appreciation and that which is now indelibly implanted in my mind when these young people came and they saw, and I told them that CPEP is coming, of course, to clean the building. They said, no, Mr. Smith. No, Mr. Smith. CPEP coming to clean? No, Mr. Smith. We will clean it for ourselves. You hear what I say? I said those young people volunteered to clean the damn building, and I could tell you, it was a mess. Because there's all kinds of displaced persons who were, of course, inside there. They broke, of course, the front gate, and they went in. It's George Street you're talking about, you know. 55 George Street you're talking about, you know. They went in. And guess what? But I said, but listen, no, don't bother yourself. They come in tomorrow. CPEP will come and clean the whole place, and, you know, everything will be hunky-dory. They have the tools and everything. They said, no, Mr. Smith, once again. CPEP coming tomorrow. The time is around 4 o'clock. This evening I'm talking about. They said, we're going and clean it now. Well, I just back, and I said they're joking. You know what I say? I said they're joking. The leader come and say, Mr. Smith, you don't have to depend on CPEP. We're going and clean that now. And next thing I know, it's who walking out with 2 brooms in their hand, who walking with shovel, who walking with something like a barrow. But of course, they are sensitive to the circumstance and how the police will respond to them inside that building, because it was locked up for some time. So the leader said, well, Mr. Smith, you had to give us something to prove that we have a legitimate right inside of there, because you know the police. And I agreed. But I didn't walk with anything, because I didn't expect to do any cleaning today, except, of course, to change the locks. And that was it. A very simple exercise. I tell them, all right, when I see broom, shovel, and I see men and girls, at least 2 or 3 of them, join the group of young men. I say, what? So I fly back to the office, and I prepare an authorization letter. The time it took me to get back to them on George Street, I am on the other side of town, as far as, let's say, Abercrombie Street. As far as Victoria Square, to be more specific. When I finished that, I prepare, of course, a document for them outlining what my plans are, and that they must make an input and add to it in terms of some of the issues that must be addressed in that area. By the time I reach back, the leader said, Mr. Smith, we almost finished, you know. In my mind, I say he joking. I say he joking. The man said that they almost finished. I say he joking. They start with the upstairs first. He said, come. And I followed him up the steps. And onto expecting, of course, I almost closed my eyes, because I don't want him, that all of that was a figment of my own imagination. But I'm telling myself, it's impossible. With all that rubbish, paper, dirt, accumulated over years. And of course, those displaced persons finding themselves there, and of course, creating further havoc and more rubbish, more debris. When I reached the top of the steps, and I turned north to step into the building itself, on that floor, It's a good thing I have a good heart. I say it's a good thing I have a good heart. You know what I say? You would forgive me because it doesn't take much for me to be impressed, especially where young people are concerned, and young people of that community. It's a good thing I have a good heart, I tell you. The whole place, as if there was nothing, not a speck of paper, a speck of dirt. Oh, a shock. A shock. And all I could have said, well done. Well done. And they were tackling, of course, the ground floor, but only for the large items that they want to put on the pavement, because they were lumber and old fridge and so on that we left there. Because I am familiar with the building, I used to use it at an earlier time, much earlier. So I was extremely impressed. And the young man did not fail to say that they say that we don't like to work, Mr. Smith. You know what I say? I said the young man on George Street, the street west of Nelson Street, and Nelson Street, therefore, is east of it. And therefore, all of them come from the same area, whether Nelson Street, Duncan Street, George Street. But of course, the northern side of Prince Street, because you know there is an existing, of course, you don't want to overdo it, borderline issue. But my presence there, would change that. Because I can transcend. I can go north, south, east, west, north and south, doesn't matter. But I was extremely impressed. It's only tonight I am moved to tears having to regurgitate or repeat that experience so that you can get it live and direct. What should I do in those circumstances? What? I have to put my best foot forward. I have to assist. I have to say that all is not lost. I have to say to Rowley and Day that I will be much more vociferous. I will be much more aggressive. I will be much more choleric. I'll be much more insistent. And I will insist and insist, because I am satisfied that they have the potential. And once you can discover, and with the right formulae, and you put in the correct systems in place, these people can emerge out of the quagmire that they were made to believe that they are doomed to engage. Gangsters, they believe it's their portion. Borderline. And of course, those who would like to pursue their criminal and criminalistic behavior will give them a gun and glamorize it. And they go and rob, because one of the things that the young man told me, that the authorities believe and forget that they are human beings too, and they have to eat in a concrete jungle environment. An argument that I made many moons ago. Many moons ago. And it's like if it's deja vu or the whole damn thing come full circle. But I want to say to you, and Nelson Street and Duncan Street and George Street, all is not lost. All is not lost. And we will work together. And we will, of course, sacrifice together. And we will learn together. And we will improve together. And we will show Trinidad and the rest of the world and the Caribbean that that place is not what they are told is immutable, can't change. We will, and we will. Once again, extremely impressed. And they told me that they will be listening tonight and tomorrow on the ground report as well. So I want to tell them my heartiation. I don't have to wait on CPEP tomorrow. Those heavy items. Take all, because the garbage truck happened to be passing as it does every evening, and they help those scavengers to put the items that they clean from the building inside of the truck, and what can't be taken up, like pieces of metal and of course old deep freeze, etc. They have made arrangement to get their friends to, of course, who has a pickup, to take it and cart it away. Cart it away! How could I check on that? How Rowley and them may know that? How Hines they know that? How Scotland know that, whose office is a stone's throw away on the greens at the head of Prince Street? On the greens, yes, over the bridge. How do you know that? And I've always told you about the socio-economic and psycho-cultural realities and dynamics of that area. And if you take the time to learn, you will come up with formulas or formulae, plural of formula, that will make the country peaceful, stable, and therefore all the other elements such as tourism and etc. that we have to engage in because of climate change and our over-reliance as an economy on, of course, fossil fuel will come to an end sooner rather than later. Rowley is hoping that he will die and go, so therefore he don't have that responsibility, but would have laid the foundation not to diversify if we would have allowed it. He just has the rest of this year and part of next year. Part of next year. So once again, hip hip hooray. And guess what? Again, by serendipity, tomorrow is Friday. Well, you know, I had to go prepared. And you know, I had to have extra steps or extra sting in my steps tomorrow, because they are going to be expecting. Yes. And of course, I will not fail to express my deepest appreciation for their support, without, of course, giving them a cent. Without giving them a cent. Because I told them up front, it's not yet month end. I don't have any money. I told them that. And they said, nah. This is not about that. This is about what we see in this document that I gave them, that already had put in place the George Street Community Center renovation and 2, of course, basketball court on either side of the border, the Prince Street border, south and north. And they were talking, of course, assistance for everybody. Those in the north, even though, those in the south, even though they were fundamentally in the north. Yeah, that is what I experienced today. Today, I cannot betray that. They don't even know that I, the man who has called Rowley a rapist and a pedophile every night, because they will not, of course, attach themselves to the corridor transformation. That is not their forte. And they would like to go on TikTok and get these, of course, what I call talking things in their language and Trinidad music and so forth. But they told me tonight they are going to listen, and I expect that that is what is happening. So I say kudos to you. My genuine and, of course, complete and total respect. Rowley and them don't appreciate that of you. They don't see you as having that potential to transform, to generate a behavioral pattern that is suitable for sustainable and peaceful progress, not only of your immediate community, but your contribution by that gesture to Trinidad and Tobago. Nobody would want to come to that community because of the reputation that it has developed over the years, and I understand that. And I know that we have work to do. But so long as there is breath in my lungs and my heart continues to palpitate, suggesting that I am still in a state of effervescence, elation, still in a state of wanting to serve, they have my support, my respect, and of course, my assistance. Anybody else could go to hell, could say what they want. And let me tell all of this. The agencies that are responsible for servicing communities like these will have to function. Will have to function. Because as I told you some time ago, when in the 2007 general elections of the UNCA, not only did I get in a page of that manifesto of that particular elections, 2007, of which I was a candidate for Lavatil East Movement. For the first time, a manifesto had Lavatil mental, not politically in terms of the constituencies, but because they have the same socio-economic and psycho-cultural dynamics, and therefore that commonality. Poor, stigmatized, borderline, murders, youth, delinquency, truancy, teenage pregnancy, single mother parents who can least afford to control and avoid their offsprings from being influenced by the negative elements that are lurking all around. All of these communities are from George Street, go right back up to come around Beetham, Malik, Sealats, all of them. And I dare say, because of the migrational chronology or history, you could safely say, Mutta, parts of Diego Martin. Yes, Gun Hill in Point 14. and Point Fortin and La Brea, you could say that similar socio-economic and psychocultural circumstance. And therefore, this is a national, not just agenda, not just a purpose, not just a commitment, but a combination of all, including dedication. Dedication to the amelioration, the improvement of the circumstances of these young people who clearly are suffering from the lack of direction from a very tender, impressionable age. And still, as adults who have children, etc., and have to eat, and the children have to eat, we cannot be that barbaric. We cannot be that insensitive to turn a blind eye. Clearly, there will be challenges. There will be disappointments. There will be those who would stray. But as I've always said in MLIO, and I'm saying tonight to you people in Eastport of Spain in general, and of course those youths who assisted and came voluntarily, and of course recognizing that there is a potential for their transformation, and therefore based on the history of Lennox Smith in doing such human and civic and community service. Because the word would have been spread by the elders who would have benefited from one Saturday under the ministry of the people. Vinod Toppin was the minister. And a Saturday, I say, I orchestrated, and right on the pavement, just above Prince Street, but on George Street, and in front, of course, the high-rise or the planning, and opposite the building that they so diligently, without asking for anything, without putting a gun to my head, yes, without threatening, yeah. But total and absolute respect and humility. Why, of course, they got their own shovel, their own brooms, and they went up there and they clean and clean and clean, and they will be cleaning all now because I left the damn place open. I put on no locks. I tell them leave it so until tomorrow when I come. I'll bring the locks. That is the faith I deposit in them, and that's the faith that they will not betray. I'm certain of it because I've been there before, and I used to leave my car open. And they dare not go there. I'm not saying that because I'm a special person. I'm saying that because anybody in Trinidad and Tobago could get that same respect, that same service from them. If, of course, they are treated in the way that they ought to, because you would have, of course, gone in there and observed what is required and do what is required in order, of course, for them to make their contribution. That, of course, will not include those subterranean issues that we are facing now today, because you have a callous, insensitive, wicked, diabolical, greedy, and I should say people deprivation government called Rowley, because they believe that they are elitists, and there must be, of course, people who they could mash down and they could step on. And so those people in Eastport of Spain represents that, and that is just a microcosm of what they see of people like these across the country and along the East-West corridor in particular, where the majority of the African community resides and settled. Let's not waste time. Understand the challenge, and let us rise to the occasion. And I want to say I thank God, because it's the circumstance, or the circumstances, that caused me to be there today to witness this outpouring of community spiritedness, optimism, hope, and contributing mentally and physically, laying the foundation with clearly the appropriate expectation. If you sow, you must reap. Just as anybody else. You do your work, your book work. You expect, of course, to do well in tests. You do your studies. You expect to do well, as will be the case in any exam. You do your apprenticeship well. You will eventually become an expert like the person who taught you. That is the rule. That is unwritten, but it is common sense. You cannot be doing your work and when time comes for tests, you expect to do bad? No. Your teacher will always say A+, A+, etc., etc. That's how it is once you put in the effort under the work. Once you do it. So there's exciting times, and I'll bring, of course, some pictures tomorrow night. No, not tomorrow night, sorry, tomorrow is Friday, so Saturday. And you know what? I was minded that I didn't take pictures of the upper floor and the state it was in, because it's important, of course, when you are making a case to get resources, so as to generate, whether it's training, whether it be a meeting, as the case may be, whether it's to look for chairs so that you can sit in comfort, to, of course, benefactors that may be so inclined, whether it be a corporate or individual or another civil society entity you are asking for assistance from, because certainly I don't have the funds. I don't have the funds to finance what clearly is a mega project. But associating and networking with different entities, every drop will eventually fill the basket or fill the pail or fill the tank. And that is where we have to go to deliver to these young people. Ignore the gun, focus on their families, and get their life in order. Yes, indeed. I want to tell them once again, the night is dedicated to you. I'll see you tomorrow, both in the day and in the night. But I always believe to live up, to deliver on my promises. It may not be delivered at the time that I said or we expected or we agreed, but to deliver, I damn well will deliver. Not like Rowley and them. They lie for you to be a vote bank for them and then vote for them and then they cast you away until the next time that they want you again. And all that time you are in misery. I want to tell, of course, one of the callers tonight, I think it's Miss Santa Cruz, who said that don't be perturbed. And there's another caller as well that talked about, of course, a fella say he will die at PNM. Well, obviously, and not only he alone will die. That is a fixture of living things. But certainly, he will die faster by hitching his wagon to the PNM 1 and 2. Poor fella. He doesn't recognize that he is part of a dying breed. They are becoming extinct. Nobody listens to people like that anymore. You see how I'm sure that the person who gave us that information from the United States and of course the fella is supposed to be his friend. You see we laughing? Making a mockery of such an individual by saying that he go die up here. And he laughed and he laughed and he laughed. And of course we should laugh. Because they are in absolute and total denial. denial of the fact. And they cannot bring themselves to see the evil that is being perpetrated by the Rowley administration. And Rowley and them don't care about them. And will love to hear them talk the suicidal hogwash. Because everyone that speaks that, they believe that they can dig into their pernicious, bottomless pit of propaganda and continue, of course, to try to brainwash people who were already brainwashed, but the majority of which have been deconditioned. But Rowley and them ain't know that yet. They will continue until, of course, they are relegated as an institution to the dustbin of political history. Blue lights and, of course, silver bracelets. They are too damn blatant. Blatant, conspicuous, obvious, pellucid. And clearly dedicated to the concept and the idea of deception. Deception, why some of young people go astray, don't know, pick up a gun, they start to revenge each other. And for what they don't know, well, by and large, because, of course, as I told you, there are certain specific elements that would have generated that kind of, should I say, suicidal tendency. I kill one, they kill me back, and so on and so forth, and the back and forth continues. We have to bring that to an end. And I'm very, even though he probably didn't think that I was taking notes, but I took notes of the statement made by the brother, the one who, of course, organized this beautiful welcome back exercise by dismissing, of course, CPEP and going, and within minutes, they were able, of course, to complete the task of what I consider to be a very hectic, arduous, and clearly grueling task. And they were able, of course, to do so, demonstrating that they can work once they put their minds to it. And the government must understand that they can. And people like me must project that out there for more reasons and for the stability of the country. Obviously, the presence of the PNM by itself is criminal. PNM in government by itself attracts more murders than any other party in government. So we know that. So what we have to do in these communities, these young people have a task beyond what was exhibited this evening, but to go around and to tell Granny and to tell those persons who believe that somehow they must hold on to something of the past, because Rowley and Hines and Scotland and them are telling them so to do. Why is Scotland and them pretending, generating illusions that he will ride a bike to go to work and all that kind of hogwash, attempting to empathize with those very people who are actually riding scooters. And motorbike may be an obsolete thing, because they're driving cars too. But how they get it, etc., that's another story. And how they maintain it, that's another story, etc. We want it to be legitimate. We want it to be, of course, conscientious. We want it to be a part and parcel of the social matrix fabric of the community. And they do honest work for honest day's pay and get away from crime and criminality, guns and ammunition, and, of course, the narcotic trade. That being as it may, people, as I said, tomorrow is my day. I'll be back there tomorrow. And I'm really, really, really enthused. Tonight, I'll be writing a plethora of letters to deliver tomorrow morning simply because of what I saw today and experienced. They have motivated me. They have motivated me. So, don't forget, of course, tomorrow morning, the ground report. Andy, Mikey, and myself, of course, Andy is taking his sabbatical. I had a discussion with him this evening, and of course, Mikey as well, as we look at strategizing, as we continue, of course, to bring the information to you so that you can make your own decision. Of course, we didn't have time to extrapolate the video that was shown there, except to say, in brief, that Maduro has reneged on the arrangement, that all opponents in the political arena in Venezuela must, of course, contest. They have breached that, the Barbados Agreement, and so the U.S. has reimposed sanctions. Of course, Rowley was present whilst they were entertaining him, and he taking pity, or whilst his pipe dream was being torched, exploded right where he got the opportunity to get that license. But the sanction that is now reimposed on Venezuela, I think tomorrow we will hear how much Kamala Prasad, Mr. San, and the UNC contributed to that. That nincompoop, that asinine specimen of inhumanity, that bizarre speck of protoplasm, that predator, that rapist, that pedophile, that miscreant, that criminal, that malevolent individual is a candidate for an asylum. Yes, a madhouse. But it must be a prison for the criminally insane. For the criminally insane. Tonight, God bless, and of course, tomorrow, effect on Trinidad and Tobago, and the fact that another opportunity has gone a-begging, as told by Rowley. Excuse me. Always with an anticlimax. What we think will be the ending is not the ending. The end comes before the end. That is Rowley and his imps and them that, of course, are too long in office and must call election sooner, preferably rather than later.
The girl was on chief was dead. Cause they don't stay out too late. And when she didn't come home, cause they keep calling down she phone. So long as Granny calling, the girl not answering. But finally she come home. Granny say you're not answering your phone. And Granny start caroling, the girl started singing. Then she saying, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, this is a snake in the sugar pan. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, you should know these things sweet for soul. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, long ago, Granny, you were so. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. She says she go love you. My one and only do. Say don't worry with Granny, Granny like to quarrel. Then she saying, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, why, Granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, this was a snake in the sugar pan. Granny, why, these things sweet for soul. Granny, Your granny me's a rebel. What she saying, boy, boy, granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, boy, boy, granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, this is a snake in the sugar pan. Granny, boy, boy, granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, you should know, is this sweet for so? Granny, boy, boy, granny, ay, ay, ay. Granny, long ago, granny, you were so. Granny, boy, boy, granny, ay, ay, ay.
Jano, Jano, hit me now. Judgment morning, I by the gate and I waiting, because I begging the master, give me a walk with Peter. If I come sinners coming, with them I go be dealing, because the things that they do me, I want to fix them personally. Peter wait, Peter look Cecil Rhodes by the gate. Peter look the Englishman, we send Cecil Rhodes to Africa land. Peter take trip, take Rowley, but leave Victoria for me. Peter, I just don't care what you say, but Mussolini, he can't get away. Why? This is my time for burning. I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning. Blazing, blazing, blazing. This is your time for burning. I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning. Fire coming. That I undergo from these madman and woman, I feel the full weight of the hand. They need the oppressed law, they never care about the poor. Peter, these people had a day, well now it's time for Stalin to play. Peter wait, I say Peter wait. Peter look Ian Smith by the gate. Funny. Peter, I don't want you to make fuss, remember I want Christopher Columbus. Funny. Peter look the English woman who in South Africa refused to put sanctions. Peter, I just don't care what you do, but Reagan going in the fire too. Why? This is my time for money. Peter, keep the fire blazing. Blazing. Peter, keep the fire coming. Take me now. Jano, hit me now. Because I begging the master, give me a walk with Peter. If I come sinners coming, with them I go be dealing, because the things that they do me, I want to fix them personally. Peter wait, Peter look Cecil Rhodes by the gate. Peter look the Englishman, we send Cecil Rhodes to Africa land. Peter take trip, take Rowley, but leave Victoria for me. Peter, I just don't care what you say, but can't get away. Why? This is my time for burning. I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning. Peter, keep the fire blazing. Blazing. This is your time for burning. I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning. undergo from these madman and woman. I feel the full weight of the hand. They may they oppress law. They never care about the poor. Peter, these people had a day. Well, now it's time for Stalin to play. Peter, wait, I say Peter, wait. Peter, look, Ian Smith by the gate. Money, money. Peter, I don't want you to make fuss. Remember, I want Christopher Columbus. Take Rowley, but leave Victoria for me. Peter, I just don't care what you say, but Mussolini, he can't get away. Why? This is my time for London. I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning. Fire blazing, 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 blazing. This is your time for London. I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning and I'm burning. Fire coming. That I undergo from these madman and woman. I feel the full weight of the hand. They may they oppress law. They never care about the poor. Peter, these people had a day. Well, now it's time for Stalin to play. Peter, wait, I say Peter, wait. Peter, look, Ian Smith by the gate. Money, money. Peter, I don't want you to make fuss. Remember, I want Christopher Columbus. Money, money. Peter, look, the English woman who in South Africa refused to put sanctions. Peter, I just don't care what you do, but raise